And when you're introducing somebody to the equipment, it's best to just give them a little bit, right? Like eating an elephant. Not all in one sitting, you'll get indigestion. So, one step at a time, and give them the simple stuff. There's pictures right on the machines of some of the movements. A lot of them are pretty much intuitive, right? So, and then, so what we'll do is we'll jump on a machine, give you the basics, then we'll stop, rewind, and play. Fun? Okay? Stable to unstable to challenging stability. Gotta build the base before we put up the bridge, right? Pour some concrete first. And so posture, and what I did with you guys in there first, is gonna be the key. Ear, shoulder, hip, and if you're standing, ankle. And then load. All right?
He said, you know if this picks up voice?
You know what? Let's go over to the shoulder.
That was positive.
Okay. If I get close.
So left side of the weight stack, kilograms. Right side weight, right, in pounds. 5 pound increments through 50. 5 pound increments through 50, and then 10 after. With the handles and 5 pounds indicated with the selector pin, can anybody tell me what weight this is? Go ahead, that's not a trick question. 5 pounds. Can anybody tell me how much weight this is?
5.
No. Ah, exactly. The weight stack is where it's 2 arms, 2 hands, whatever. You didn't get the leg pieces, but that one's automatically split for you on the weight stack because you can only do it one side at a time. Within the machine, there's mechanics that basically split the inertia and the weight. Make it a 2-to-1, well actually a 4-to-1. And so it splits the resistance. So when you're looking at the weight here, that's with both hands. Take half that weight if you're just moving one. Okay? So, name?
Mary.
Mary? Mary? Steve Koski. I'm going to be your trainer today.
Okay.
This is the shoulder. Just have a seat here. Okay, when introducing somebody to the machine, use low weight. We just want to get the movement down. Go ahead and grab these handles on either side of you there.
You feel okay?
Good. Bring it up here. Excellent. And just show them. You don't have to give them all the biomechanics. Now, you can adjust it down if she's got a limitation in her shoulder or something that you don't want her to externally rotate. So go ahead and come back up here and just press overhead. Mary, you're doing great. Mary actually progressed without even being asked to, right? She's already somewhat unstabilized. She sat up because she felt this is the way I should do the shoulder press. Go ahead and press. And straight overhead. Good. Do you have any kind of shoulder issues? No? Okay. And we don't want her to. The fixed shoulder press. Second most impingeable joint in your body besides your knee, right? Impingement. Ow. Impingement. Ow. Well, that's where it's welded. Where are you going to go? Can you move away from impingement there? No. It's welded. You can't. So you get off that machine and go someplace else. Go ahead and press. If Mary feels an impingement, press out. She can migrate. She can get away from it, right? If it's continuous, she probably wants to get it checked out, though, because there's a reason for impingement. With Brett Favre, when he was here, it was an inflamed biceps tendon that rocked back and forth out of the process. Okay? So go ahead and press again. So if she were to fatigue or want more stability, just bring your back here and press. Looking straight out, give me an exhale as you press. Overhead. Good. How's that feel? Fine? Light? Okay? So that's the basic movement. Grab the handles, sit, press. Okay? Now, grab those handles again. We're going to fatigue you here. You didn't know you were going to work out, right? Okay, so go ahead and sit up, which she did on her own, and press. So this is where we progress to.
Thank you for that one thing.
Yes.
When you're doing your in-services, one thing that I've learned to do, and you'll learn a lot of progression from Steve, is you'll have a tendency to be all excited to show people. If it's somebody that's new, the first thing you want to show them is how easy it is to use, because sometimes it can be intimidating, like, oh, I just go back to what I want to do. So one good thing that you want to say is the first thing you do on this machine is sit down. Notice how there's absolutely no adjustments, because you go ahead, grab the handles, press overhead. You just did the exercise. You don't have to write down a seat adjustment, a back adjustment, and so forth. And I've learned just by that first part alone, be like, oh, I like this, because now they can just get on and use it, especially if they're doing buddy training and so forth. And then you can lead into the whole progression that Steve's going to go into.
Yeah, the unfortunate reality, folks, is that if you come in here 6 o'clock at night when this place is jamming, in fact, you're busy right now, there's a lot of people that aren't even using those 4 or 5 adjustments per machine. Now, and we still have linear line. When I sell that, I spend a lot of time on making the point that you have to be in alignment with the machine. Because if your knee is ahead or behind the pivot point, that's going to be a lot of shear force on your knee. If your elbow is ahead or behind the pivot point on the bicep, that's going to be a lot of shear on the elbow and the shoulder, potentially. So it's all about lining up this point with that point, and this point with that point, and adjust this, and move that seat, and move the back. And so instead, people just jump on it and use it where it was from the guy previous, or gal, right? So you can actually be setting people up for potential injuries. So Wayne's absolutely correct. The machine follows you here, right? So keep it simple the first time. So have a seat, grab those handles, press overhead. Now, let's say Mary needs more. She's been here, she's seen people doing other stuff there. Well, first thing would be to sit up, but have her do the same movement, because just by virtue of her sitting up, she's going to involve more stability, right? She doesn't have that assistance now behind her. Real quick illustration, just one more. Wayne, come here. Come on over here, guys. You're going to hit your head right here. So, which one? Right or left? Left? Okay. So, I'm just going to go ahead and launch me. Okay. I'm going to get ready for you now. Go ahead and launch. Okay, now step away from the wall. All right. Now go ahead and launch me. Go ahead, anytime. Just throw me away. Just push me. There I go. Yep, okay. Come on. Techniques, exercise, science. What's the difference? Yeah. Yeah. He's externally stabilized, right? You ever run your car out of gas? No? You're lucky. If he did, do you think he'd call me up and say, hey, Steve, come stand behind me so I can get my car to the gas station? No. We don't walk around in life with a wall behind us. Same thing over there. You're externally stabilized on linear equipment, right? So the core shuts down because it's not engaged. So let's go back now. And take Mary. Mary said, I thought I was done. Okay? So now we had her sit up, but if we were to look at Mary's body, what's an anchor? Potentially. Her hips. So just scoot your hips forward. There you go. Just so your back's off the pad. There. Okay, now press. Now without changing the weight, do you feel a little bit more challenge? Little, okay. Let's turn up the volume. Now if you're working with a client, they've been good, you can give them this side. If they haven't been so good, you can give them this side. Go ahead and stand up for a sec. Okay, now sit down. Now press. Okay, do you see her? Wiggle a little bit. Neuromuscular, right? Compensation. Her body's learning to stabilize that. Okay, go ahead and press. How could we increase the challenge? Trainer, staff. Speed. Okay, before we get to speed, let's just drop one handle, right? Or move one handle at a time. Let's try one handle at a time. Progression? Yes. A little rotation maybe. Reach across as you push. Right. Come over here with it. Good. Because 70% of the muscles in your body are arranged for rotation. Good. Okay, now, having a handle in both hands is what though? If she's pressing this one, what is this?
Stabilizing.
It's an anchor. It's a stabilizer. So just drop either handle. Where's the free hand go if you're doing a one-arm exercise? This is important. Hanging at your side or out. Good. Outside your body, fine, or above your hip. What you don't want to do is put it on your leg, because that creates a bridge, right? We're disconnected at the hips, essentially. So if you're holding down here, it's going to be an anchor. If you're holding up here, you can. So I don't care if it's on your hips, hanging down, as long as you're not grabbing. Behind your head, doesn't matter, as long as it's above the waist and you're not using it as an anchor. So go ahead and press with your hand on your hip and rotate. You see what's going on here? Each time she presses, her body's adjusting, it's compensating. Now put one foot in front of the other on the post. Oh, hello. Now we have not changed the resistance. It's only 10 pounds. Now you go, but what would I use that for? I don't know, a football player that's changing direction, a weekend warrior that plays softball and needs more power in rotation and needs to be stable in core and hips. Anybody that wants to progress their program and not just boredom and lack of results, people quit. So I'm not just talking to you today for your student rec center, I'm talking to you as potential trainers in the future in the industry.
So knowing your client's needs, just to kind of recap, Steve, is without any instruction, most people will tend to drift kind of like what he's doing the chest fly. They'll do the muscle isolation, which is great. So you can do bodybuilding movements and so forth, not taking that away. What Steve's showing you is the progression of instability. So what studies have shown is the less stable an exercise is, the more the surrounding muscles start to be engaged. So if you have a client that is very unstable, like a senior and so forth, you want to work on stability. And that's what you want to do. So you want to take back off pad, feet off the ground. So what happens is when you're doing the shoulder press, when you start taking away those bridges, less stress is put on the shoulder, the main mover, and more on the surrounding muscles. And that's not good for full bodybuilding, but perfect for everyday movements, for athletic purposes, and so forth. So keep that in mind the reason I see trainers all the time just jumping right into functional training. It needs to be progressed, and that's the reason why is you want to, when you do asymmetrical loading like she was doing, what's happening is when there's an action, there's a counter reaction. So as she's pressing with this side, all these intercostal muscles are engaging to pull her body straight again. But that's good because that's muscle integration, not muscle isolation. That's what we're showing you, the progression and the versatility of these machines.
And we all lose that as we age, balance and stability. So off of Wayne's point is do it early. Incorporate some of these kinds of exercises in all that you're doing, even if you are a bodybuilder. Bodybuilders have to do planks and do core work. It's going to help his control and help him with the rest of his exercises, whether they're isolated or power movements, whatever. So, okay, lastly, if you just stand up, as a progression, you can come to the back of the machine, do the same things, right? So, facing out, I want you to pick up the handle, facing this way. There you go. And go ahead and press slowly. Oh, she topped out. Okay, so go ahead and do one at a time. Good. She's in a power stance. You can put her into a plank stance for more stability. Where's our, if we've got, if you want to progress her to standing from seated, you can use that same, go ahead and have a seat facing out. Good, and I'm right here. Just make sure that you're spotting that individual press. Again, we haven't changed the weight at all, right? Weight is one of the variables that you use for increased, once she's stable and balanced, you can start increasing the resistance. Good form. When form breaks down, move on. Stop the exercise. Okay? If you'll notice too, imagine, heaven forbid, she's in a wheelchair, right? This is considered one of the dock and lock stations. In other words, you just back the chair up, lock the wheels, grab the handles for them, or they can reach the handles, press. They're already in their seat. Okay? Questions here? Okay.
When she topped out, keep in mind when you pull with one arm, it's twice the pull length as with both arms. So like if you're taller like I am and I want to do a shoulder press, I'll just do one arm presses versus two arm presses. If you're a little bit shorter, you might be able to get away with it.
Yeah. You want to try some fun stuff? It more leans towards therapy, but go ahead and do a press again. Okay. Now I want you to bring your feet together. We're going to reduce her balance, point of balance. Press. Okay. You lift one leg out. Go ahead and press. Okay, and now as you feel comfortable, go ahead, keep that leg up, and I want you to close your eyes. Nice. Go ahead and open your eyes.
Now she's using literally her entire body to do that one exercise.
How'd that feel? Yeah, so when you close your eyes, you lose horizon, and it's almost 100% vestibular. So balance, core, all are involved in that. Go ahead. Oh, no, you're done. Thank you. Okay, so if you know the shoulder, you now know the chest, right? So show them the chest press, but then once they've got that, they can, come on over here. I want you around the front. I use my sail here so we can, how we doing? Yeah. So real quickly, you've got a chest press, you've got an incline press, you've got a deep plank press, and you've got a fly. You've got a single arm, right? Single arm unsupported, single arm with rotation. Sit up. All those same movements, right? Move your hips away. So same progressions, right? So 3 stages of, or phases of resistance. Strength, or stability, I'm sorry, strength and power. Can you do stability on linear equipment?
No.
Can you do power? We're talking about speed, amplitude. On linear equipment, you can do it over in the rack. That's what it's for, right? Okay. Watch. You guys do medicine ball passes? Like against the wall? Where's your wall?
Not in here.
Oh, can't do it in here.
We don't really have a good
Yes, you
spot
can.
for it.
It's right here. Stability. Anytime I go outside the shoulder girdle, oh, I'm balanced. That feels good. As soon as I rotate outside the shoulder girdle, stability, strength. This is Wayne's favorite. Load her up. Yeah, turn those pinkies in. Right?
Then I go right to unstable.
And then he goes right to unstable. Stability, strength, power. So introduce speed and amplitude. You got a machine that splits the resistance and the inertia so you can work dynamic. Make sense? Okay. So is it a little bit more than you thought? So one machine, one exercise. One machine, hundreds of exercises.
See, and Steve didn't even really touch on the shouldering thing. And the reason why, the reason why you don't see a bicep and tricep in here is you can do bicep, triceps on every machine. You can do abdominals. So even though this is a chest press, you know, I can stand here and I can do.
Sir, plug your ears.
one-arm row,
You're not going to want to buy a
torso rotations, you know, triceps.
We already had that discussion.
So,
Yeah. Anytime you're warming somebody up for upper body exercises, particularly if they've had shoulder injuries in the past, internal, external rotation, they use it in therapy. You can, well, they don't use it in therapy with 40 pounds. External rotation, right? Turn the body, open it up, just outside of 90 degrees. Internal rotation. If you want to do it from a standing position for internal, external, here. Again, not with, what's he got down there? Not with 70 pounds. Not for Brett Favre. Inflamed biceps tendon. Right? He's doing these. He's doing these. Swimmers. Works better on the row machine. Okay?